Kale and I and Canyon, our Kale's partner, had a fabulous day on the water on bobsailing on Saturday. We caught our limit of fish. We had 3 fish real early, anchored by one over 5 pounds, and we changed spots 2 or 3 times and got on another group of fish, and we finished our limit and culled 5 times. Culling means that you cull weights for the greatest weight. You weigh each fish and you replace the lesser weight with a greater weight, trying to get 5 fish that weigh the most. And as God granted us the second place string, it was 22 pounds, 54.54 pounds. And as we were coming to the weigh-in, Kale said, you know, I think this is the biggest sack fish that I've ever weighed. This is my personal best. And come to find out, he and another partner won team champion or state champion last year on Cedar Creek. And this sack beat that sack. So he had a really nice string of fish. And he also caught an 8-pounder, weighed 8.0, which was his personal best. So he had big bass and big string. It was a amazing day, a great day. Both boys shared in the catch. Both boys caught fish, but it was both their personal best, stringer and big bass. And the sad part of it is we went to the weigh-in and everything is fine. The boys went through the weigh-in line, weighed their fish, had their pictures made on stage, made their little speech up there with the weigh-in master and the tournament director there. They stepped off the stage. We went around behind the weigh-in trailer. They've got signage there on the back of the tournament trailer. We made pictures there, group photo with their catch. And we came back around and was standing watching the score tracker. It's a computer screen that shows the stats as the competitors weigh their fish. And we were just standing there, and Kale went down and was unresponsive immediately. Luckily, there was an off-duty EMT there, 2 registered nurses, and they knew exactly what to do, and they proceeded to give him CPR. And collectively, between the EMTs that finally arrived and those EMT personnel, he was on CPR for about 40 minutes and was transported to Titus County Memorial. And unfortunately, he didn't pull through. You know, we don't know why. We can ask God why. And I don't think we will know why until we get to the other side. But the positive thing that's come out of this that I can assure you is his passing brought this community together like I've never seen before. Excuse me. I think the kingdom, God's kingdom, will be reached. He touched a lot of kids, making a lot of folks realize you don't have to be an old person to die. And why did an old fat 73-year-old man go instead of a strapping 17-year-old? I don't have those answers.
I guess you feel fortunate to have known him.
Oh, absolutely. His grandfather asked me last year if I would captain him, and we had a reasonably good year last year. We qualified for the regional, but unfortunately we did not make state last year. We were having a really good year this year in the point standings. Going into this tournament, we were 9th, and the whole objective at the beginning of the year was to end the year in the top 10, which would place us for the Angler of the Year tournament. and that was Kale's big objective for the year, was to make Angler of the Year and to make that Angler of the Year tournament. And with our placing second in the last tournament and second place in this tournament, it would have bumped us way up in the standings. I don't know, the points have not been announced yet, so I don't know where we ended up, but I'm going to guess we'll be in the top 5 anyway, and certainly we would have qualified for the Angler of the Year tournament. We have the regional tournament coming up, which we had qualified for region already, followed then by state. Who knows if we'd have got out of the regional tournament and qualified for state? That remains to be seen. But the other young man has already said we're going to finish the season, and we're going to do it for Kale.
I've been a part of the fishing team now for 4 years. My son graduated fishing last year, and just the love for this sport and seeing the kids do what they want to do, whether it, some kids, that can't do the things that they want to do as far as sports wise, and this right here is something else that brings them and the community together. Rather than getting off the board when my son graduated, I decided to stay on the board and continue to support the community and these kids fishing. So this year was my first year on the board with no angler. That's kind of where I stand on the board. I've known Kale for a very long time. I've watched him grow up. I first met Kale out on the racetrack. He was racing go-karts, and I met his family, Brett and Kristen. They're wonderful people. They did a great job raising Kale. He was a great young man, a lot of respect out there on the racetrack, off the racetrack, and he ended up growing up to loving fishing. That was his passion. He found his passion in fishing. So it was an honor to watch him do what he loved to do. Speaking to the family, the day of his passing was Saturday. He had such a great day. He woke up, he knew he was fixing to go out there and catch him some fish, and he went out there and done just that. He was on the water with the two that, if you asked him who he was going to want to be on the water with, it would have been Canyon Russell and Driven Joyner. He spent that day on the lake and doing exactly what he loved. Him and his daddy had a bet who was going to catch an 8-pound bass first. And on that day, that man caught an 8.00 pound bass moments before he left us. And that's a blessing. So we don't know why it happened, but after stepping back and looking into it, it's almost like that was his purpose here. He served his purpose. He did what he loved, and he left us here with that. So I guess we'll find out, on the other side why it happened, but all we can do is be here for the family, and that's what I'm here for.